What is up, everyone? It is Saturday, January 21st of 2023. Back with you with another family education and support group. It's a weekly thing we do here each and every single Saturday, and I am the host. My name is Param. We've been doing this for close to 3 years now on this platform, and it's been a really wonderful ride. And we have some usual suspects, which you'll see their names popping up in places like this, Mr. Jim Shand, and whoever else pops up. This is an interactive session if you've never been here before. And good morning, Jim. So let me give a quick introduction of myself while we wait for people to trickle on and to be able to start this family education support group. So my name is Param, like I said. I have a master's degree in marriage and family therapy with an emphasis in child development. I am a licensed addictions counselor, so with substances and behaviors and everything in between. I am also a high school basketball coach, which last night we beat our crosstown rivals, the Mission Viejo Diablos. We beat them 65-53, so a little humble brag. It was a really nice win and a good evening. And what else do I have to tell you about myself? I'm also going to be a college professor. I've been announcing that lately because it's something I'm very proud of at a community college over here in South Orange County called Saddleback Community College. And I think most importantly, out of all those things, I am also a human being in the recovery process. And in June 13th of 2008, I was able to obtain, maintain, sustain personal recovery from mind and mood altering substances and living a certain lifestyle. It goes beyond the discontinuation of drugs and alcohol. It was like a full commitment to a new way of life. And it's been 14 and a half years on that journey. Man, it's been a nice ride, I'll tell you that. And each and every single Saturday, come here, do my best to provide some type of free education, information on various topics such as mental health, addictions, codependency, rebuilding trust, personal development, how to set and hold boundaries, how to communicate with loved ones, and all that kind of stuff. So we got Beta, good morning. Mom, good morning. Counselor Tony, Sir Tony Dupree, good morning. He's got the Marina crew here with us. Marina crew, what is up? I know I can't see you by your faces or anything like that, but I'm glad that I'm able to participate in your recovery today. Marina by the Bay, Northern California. Hossein John, good morning. So as you can see, when comments come up, and by the way, if questions arise, so Tony, if any of your people have any questions, feel free to tell them to post it. Peji, what is up? Got another one in the house. So it's pretty interactive and it's fun. You know, it's a fun thing to do. And I do want to make a quick announcement here that I'll say in about a month or 2 months, at some point here, I'm going to also be providing a free, cousin Jess. Well, first of all, Jess, what's up? Thank you. We got cousin Asha, and Matt, hopefully, what is up? Cataline, what's nice to see you. And I'm glad to see everybody here. So I will also be starting a in-person. So for all of you that are not, unfortunately, in the Orange County area, this probably doesn't apply, but in person, I don't have the night of the week nailed down yet, but it would probably be a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Thursday. I'm guessing from like 6 to 8 p.m. And it's going to be a free in-person support group facilitated by myself for anyone that is going through the recovery process, firsthand, secondhand, thirdhand, I don't know. And it will be at our facility over there at Buckeye Recovery Network. And it's open to the public and it's free and it's not a sales pitch. It's just a support group kind of facilitated by a peer. So Peji has a suggestion. See, this is why we talk about things. Do a hybrid so other people can join in if you can. So I will take you up on that, Pej, and I will do my best to provide I don't know if the participants would want to be on camera, but I have no problem with putting the camera on my face and providing support. So we could do it like that. It's not a problem at all. And so today, Wonder John, what's up? And today what I want to do is, it's a talk that I've had in the past. And, so some of these talks are coming up. I call it getting recycled. So when a talk comes around again. But what I invite you to do and encourage you to do, for some of you, you've never heard this talk. So for you, it's brand new. For those of you who have been around for a little bit and have heard me speak a little bit, maybe you've heard this before. But I have a suggestion to give to you. If you have heard a talk before, just remember two things. Number one, you were not the same person you were when you first heard the talk. So life happens, events happen, things change. We continue to evolve and progress and move forward in life, and we have new experiences. So when we hear something again, we can almost hear it for the first time because we are a new person. That's number one. Number two is, in life, it's always important to keep an open mind. So I'm going to show you an example of what a closed mind versus an open mind means. A closed mind is this. If this is a mind that's closed, no matter what somebody does or says to add information to that mind, it might like stick there for a second, but as soon as they move, it's going to fall out. A lot of people go through life and they sit through live streams like this and they think they're watching, but they're watching like this. So information, knowledge, suggestions, solutions, all that stuff comes in and they leave and they don't feel like they gained anything from it. That has less to do with someone. Oh, what's up, Waves? I got to say what's up to you. That's right. Hey, I still look at your messages that you're posting and stuff like that. I root for you, man. I root for you. I think you're out in Florida right now, but keep on the path. I'm proud of you. So what happens is, what I want you to do is learn how to enter situations with an open mind. So a closed mind versus an open mind. What an open mind does is it allows information, knowledge, support, love to go in, and then the individual has a choice. So opening your mind provides a choice. Now you can take that information and go with it. So closed mind yields nothing. Open mind gives you the opportunity to grow. Okay. So if you've heard this before, listen with an open mind. Now, every talk I ever do is always dedicated to the possibility of human transformation. I would not be sitting here and sacrificing every Saturday of my life for the past 3 years on Zoom, but 10 years before that, if I didn't believe in the possibility of human transformation. So I believe what I sell. And I believe that all human beings, including this one sitting in front of you right now, we have the ability to transform who we are, how we live, what we do in any given moment we choose to. It's this simple. If you had a bad day yesterday, psychologically, emotionally, physically, today, in this moment, you can commit to change the trajectory of your day and have a good day. I promise you it's possible. It takes a little overcoming resistance and self-doubt to do so, but it's possible. If you had a bad week last week, you can have a good week this week. If you had a bad month, transform it and have a good month. If you had a bad year, transform it and have a good year. And if you had a bad decade, transform it and have a good decade. And check this out. If until this moment you feel like life is giving you a bad deck of cards, if your hand has been horrible and you're like, how do I play with this? You can change your life in this given moment if you want to, if you choose to. And so today's talk is called The Seasons of Life. And it's going to be very metaphorically speaking. So if you have a hard time understanding metaphors, you're going to think I'm a psychopath. But we're going to be talking about the 4 seasons of life and how it is like the passing of the seasons. Life is like the passing of the seasons. And a little caveat, a little asterisk to this talk is this. Some people don't do well in life because they major in minor things. So they put all of their time, energy, consumption, vitality, life force into minor things in life. The chaos, the drama, the details that are just unnecessary, all of that kind of stuff. They put it all in there. And you want to know what? They wonder why they don't get the life they want. Well, you know what? You got to start majoring in major things. What are major things? Your mind, your body, your spirit, your soul. Those are major things. Everything else is minor. But what do? We get distracted by the minor things. We get distracted by the things that don't fulfill us and give us any type of like zest, joy, passion for life. And we're wondering why we feel so dead and so empty and so lonely. Start majoring in major things. So that's a caveat. Yo, I like that. I love that too. That's why I say it, Waves. That's why I say it. So and the last thing before I start the talk is, if you want your life to get better, which I think everybody does, who doesn't want their life to get better? I mean, come on, right? If you want your life to get better, here's the answer. You have to get better. If you want your life to get better, you have to get better. And a lot of times people sit back waiting around saying, when is my life going to get better? When is the right person going to show up in my life? When is that job that I've wanted just going to magically appear? When is my body going to look the way it wants? When am I going to be able to communicate in a way that I'm not suppressing my emotions and I'm able to articulate my thoughts and feelings? When am I going to be able to be a productive, energetic, enthusiastic person? They sit around and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait, and that day never comes. So if you want your life to get better, stop looking at the outside, start looking at the inside. It gets better when you get better. And let's go through these. So I'm going to share with you 4 major lessons that we learn from the seasons. Okay. And we know what the seasons are. So let's just start with the very first one, the one that we're in right now. Winter. Okay. Lesson number 1, my friends, you must learn how to handle the winter. You must learn how to handle the winters. They come after fall with regularity. So think about it this way. We have the fall season and then the winter comes. Now I want you to remove the actual season and think about this. When you slip and fall, when you're in a dark place in life, psychologically in a dark place, like you're having negative thoughts, it's dark, it's gloomy. There's a lot of just sadness going through it. When your emotions are dark, when you're unable to find joy, like when I say go look outside and look at the sun shine on your face and breathe that oxygen, and you're like, I just don't see it. I don't feel it. It's not there. It's always gloomy. When you're unable to tap into that emotionally, when you're unable to physically do the things you want to do. Like you got illnesses inside your body. You got back pains. You got your feet hurt, your shoulders hurt, your heart hurt, your knees hurt. When you have all that stuff going on, when you are financially in a winter, when you look at your bank account and you look at your bills and you look at your bank account and you look at your bills and you say, this doesn't work. When you look at some expense that you have to endure and you're like, I don't have the means to be able to purchase this or to do this or pay for this. Those are dark times socially. Now, whether it's society level or just on an individual level, you're isolated, you're withdrawn, you're not connected to people. Those are all forms of winters, right? Those are all forms of winters. And some winters are colder than others, my friends. Like we just had it right now. I've seen these videos. People go out and they grab a little water bottle in the store. They walk outside and it freezes. Like that's a cold ass winter, right? So some winters are colder than others. And some of you watching this right now, you might be going through a very cold winter. And I'm not talking about the weather, my friends. Some of you might be going through a very dark and cold experience in your life, psychologically, emotionally, financially, physically, socially. It might be cold and you don't know how it's going to get by. You don't know if you're going to be able to persevere through this thing. But I told you this, the lesson number 1 is you must learn how to handle the winters. So in the regular weather version of it, when the winter comes, what do? We get all of our warm clothes out. We go refill. If you're in a cold place, you make sure you got some gas. You make sure you got some backup heat. You make sure you got some water. You make sure that you prepare yourself, your body, your home, your life, your loved ones for when the storm comes, that you're able to handle it and not freeze and die. We know how to do it with the actual weather. Now, with this kind of stuff, which is way deeper than that, how do you handle it? And first of all, the only way to handle it is to handle it. If you don't know how to handle it, you ask people who know how to handle it, and you say, tell me what to do. Show me what to do. I'm terrified of this winter that I'm in right now. I don't want to freeze. I don't want to die. How do I get through this? And the best thing I can tell you about the winter you're in, so no matter what kind of winter you're experiencing in your life, my friends, right now, whether you're psychologically, it's just cold and dark, whether emotionally, it's cold and dark, whether financially, it's cold and freezing and dark, whether socially, it's cold and dark, the beauty about the winter, you want to know what it is? Every winter passes with the passing of time. Every single winter passes with the passing of time. I have yet to see anywhere in this beautiful world that the summertime and the wintertime look the same, that the springtime and the wintertime look the same, that the fall time and the wintertime look the same. Now, they have different characteristics, but it's not the same. So whatever you're going through right now, hold tight. Hold tight. Ask for help and trust that just like the seasons, just like the winter time, just like the season of winter, it's going to pass. It always passes with the passing of time. Okay? It always passes with the passing of time. And what I encourage you to do, sometimes some people get in a new situation and they don't see any hope in it. They don't see any hope. They're like, I don't know how I'm going to get through this one. I don't know how I'm going to get through this winter, the psychological, emotional, financial, spiritual, social winter. I don't know. Well, I'll tell you this. You, my friend, are your best resource. All you have to do is close your eyes, take a walk down memory lane to a time in your own life, that you experienced a winter, maybe even darker than this one. And guess what? If you're still here listening to me talking right now in this moment, that means that you yourself have the perseverance and the resiliency to get through whatever the hell you're going through. You don't believe me? Look at your own life. Look at your own life. Thanks, Wave. Tony, the storm provides. Yes, it does. And Waves, Parham is spitting fire today. I'm going to do a humble brag. I'm always spitting fire. You just got to pay attention. Yeah, some days are better than others, my friends. So what we got here is the next one. So far, winter crystal clear. You got to handle it. Now, the second one, after the winter, what happens? So we go through December, we go through January, we go through February, and then all of a sudden, nature starts to do this really beautiful thing. Nature starts to do this really beautiful thing. We start to see colors. We start to see colors, man. We start to see flowers. We start to see animals. We start to hear sounds. We start to see vitality and hope. Look outside your window when the springtime comes around and tell me it doesn't look different than the winter. Look outside the window and tell me it doesn't sound different than the winter. Stand outside and tell me that the temperature doesn't feel better than the winter. You know it does. And this is all the same way. So, lesson number 2. Learn how to take advantage of the spring. Learn how to take advantage of the spring. So what does that mean? The spring follows the winter every single time. The spring equals new beginnings and new opportunities. So I love to say that after every breakdown in life, there is always the possibility of a breakthrough. After every dark night, man, there's a bright day. You know how I know that? Well, for the past 6,000, 7,000 years, 8,000 years of recorded human history, every time the sun goes down and it turns into night, guaranteed, man, the next day that sun's coming up. It's not like we wake up one day and the sun's out there and we're like, what is that? How did that happen? Right? It's just guaranteed. And after every winter, no matter what you're going through right now, psychologically, emotionally, financially, spiritually, socially, even if it's dark right now, the flip side of it, oh man, that's where the light comes in. That's where the brightness comes in. And in life, we only get a handful of springs, a handful of opportunities, a handful of opportunities to make sacrifices to get what we want out of life. And here's what you got to do in the spring. Are you ready for this? So when I say you must learn how to take advantage of the spring, this is what I mean. You must plant in the spring. What does planting in the spring mean? You must start to begin planting various thoughts, various emotions, various goals, various hopes, various dreams into the soil of the spring. You got to plant it. And hey, last time I checked, when you plant something, do you get the fruit of it right away? Hell no. I mean, who has ever put down an apple seed into the ground and all of a sudden ate an apple? It doesn't work that way. You put an apple seed down in the ground and you give it soil, water, nutrients, light, and maybe if you're lucky, you'll be able to have an apple to eat. And that's what happens in the spring right now. So when you get through your winter, and some of you already have, by the way, you got to start beginning to plant now, because you want to know what happens if you don't. Well, some people say, you know what? I don't want to plant in the spring. Well, that's okay. You can either plant in the spring or beg in the fall. That's your choice. You can either plant in the spring or beg in the fall. You want to know who begs in the fall? People that didn't prepare themselves for that time. People that didn't prepare themselves for that time. So major lesson number 2, learn how to take advantage of the spring. Now, the one I'll talk about the most right here is major lesson number 3, which says simply, learn how to protect your crop in the summer. So we went through the winter and all of the various elements and dynamics of it. And after the winter, what came up? The spring, the moment of opportunity to plant what you want out of life. But now when you plant something, what happens? So the summer always comes after the spring. So after you've done planting, after you've done putting the seeds in the ground to see what kind of life you want to have, you start planting your goals. Now you have to protect it. And don't waste the work you did in the spring. So sometimes people come around after like a really dark time. So let's say their back's against the wall. They're hopeless. They're helpless. Maybe they're using substances. Maybe they're going through anxiety, depression, and they have no other choice. So it's really dark for them. So they go into this new beginning, this thing called recovery. And for 30, 60, 90 days, they work on themselves and they invest on themselves and they put themselves in the middle of transformation. And then after 90 days or 6 months, they stop taking care of that crop. They stop taking care of that work they did. It's kind of like planting a bunch of things in the ground. Like, what farmer that depends on what they get out of the land and can feed their family and their village and their town with what they get out of the land does all that work to plant things, and then once it's planted, they say, oh man, screw it. Let's see what happens. It's all good. Nobody. That's when the real work starts. And that's where a lot of people fall off in the recovery world. They do a lot in the beginning and then they stop. It's like you create this beautiful crop and then you just stop watering it. You create this beautiful crop and then you stop protecting it. You create this beautiful crop and you just leave it to hope or by chance or by luck for it to turn into this magical thing that you can reap from. And it doesn't work that way, my friends. So protect your garden from intruders. Protect your garden from intruders. And who and what are intruders? Intruders are internal and intruders are external. Internal intruders are thoughts that we have. This is not going to work out. What's the point of doing this? I'm not able to do this. I'm not good enough. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't deserve this. That's an internal intruder. You got to protect yourself from that, because if you believe that intruder, if that intruder comes and makes friends with you, you know what they do? You want to know what they do? They come and just tear that whole thing apart. And yes, that is true, Jim. They can forget what got the garden green. So, there's a saying that says, hey, the grass is greener on the other side. The grass is greener on the other side. Well, you know what people like Jim would tell you? If you water your own grass, it gets just as green. If you water your own grass, it gets just as green. And those people that have green grass, by the way, it's not just an illusion. They're probably doing something. They're probably investing into that grass in order to have that luxurious, vibrant, abundant look to it. So and what are external intruders? So I talk about internal ones, which is like our thought processes and our beliefs. Now, external intruders could be people who don't care about your garden. You might work your ass off and create this life for yourself, but then get in a relationship with someone who doesn't care about you, doesn't care about your garden, doesn't care about your goals or what you planted. You know what they're going to do? They're going to rip that thing apart. You might create this beautiful garden and hang out with a bunch of people socially that don't care about all the work you did. They don't care about the winter you just overcame. They don't care about the hard work you did in spring. They don't even care about you. And you know what they do? They rip that garden apart. So it's important for us as these people that are creating this life for ourselves to protect ourselves and our crop from internal and external intruders. Not everyone that comes around just goes and plays on this thing and helps us with it. So, and then you got to continue to tend to your garden. So if you plant it in the spring, you got to continue to maintain this garden in the summer. Man, you got to continue to maintain this garden in the summer. It's your responsibility. And I'm telling you this, that if you don't do it, nobody else will. There's people that come in the recovery process, not just individuals with substance abuse, man, family members too. They think that just by someone else caring for them or their loved one, then they don't have to do anything themselves. And it's like, it doesn't work that way. You have to tend to your garden, or else the weeds, in the words of Jim Rohn, a personal development legend, the weeds, they'll take your garden. The weeds will take your garden. And you go and see enough weed killers in these Home Depots and Lowe's stores. It's a whole entire industry for people that kind of maybe neglected something. And the last one, the major lesson number 4. And by the way, thank you for all the comments. I'm kind of, I've been reading them. Let's see what Tony said here. This one's probably good. Opportunity brings growth one way or the other. Yeah, I like that word opportunity because some people look at the word a problem or a challenge. I think if you look at the word problem or challenge, you're looking at it from like a scarcity mindset, a negative mindset, a disempowered mindset. But when you look at the same thing as an opportunity, then it changes everything, because a problem stops us. An opportunity expands us. It allows us to be more than who and what we currently are. And it allows us to, like he says, grow as people, grow as individuals. So the question there is, do you have an abundant mindset or do you have a scarcity mindset? And if you have a scarcity mindset, then you don't think of the word opportunity. You think of problems, barriers, roadblocks, preventative, stopping. When you have an abundant mindset, you think is opportunity, possibilities, growth, expansion, transformation. 2 completely different ways to look at something that's blocking us. So the next one happens here is major lesson number 4, learn how to reap in the fall without complaint. So we know what the winter is, you got to handle it. You know what the spring is, you got to take advantage of the opportunities and new beginnings. You know what the summer is, what do you got to do? In the summer, you got to protect that thing. You got to protect it. You got to protect the time, energy, effort, the work, the grind you put into it. And now number 4 says, let's see, Eileen got something here right before I go into number 4. I find that to protect my garden, that I need to examine and focus on my thought patterns. Yeah, so those are the internal intruders. They are thought patterns. Why am I doing this? What's the point? Why am I the only one trying to tend to this garden? How come nobody else is tending to their garden? Somebody else came and messed up my garden, and that's not fair. Whatever those thought processes are. And a lot of them, by the way, the whole I'm not blank enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not capable enough, I'm not worthy enough, all those kind of enoughs, those are the thought processes you're talking here, those patterns. And you got to break those with what we call, and I know Eileen, you do too, with massive action. It's a big Tony Robbins thing. So with massive action, that's the only way you can break those type of thought patterns. It's been a while. It's been a long time, Eileen, since I've had the thought in my mind that I can't do something. And my parents, my mom and dad are watching this. They watch all the time, and they know like some of the things I come up with are like absurdly crazy. I'm not just saying it. It's just like, they're insane. They're like 11-year goals. But I genuinely, and I'm not just saying this, I genuinely believe that I'm going to accomplish those things. And it's gotten to the point that the negative thought patterns don't even exist anymore. Like, I don't even think, like, doubt doesn't even creep into my mind anymore. Because at the end of the day, like Tony said there, whatever happens, it's an opportunity to figure out something that I wasn't able to figure out without taking that leap of faith and doing it. And I think it's a muscle. I do believe that breaking thought patterns is a muscle. If thought patterns are really, really heavy and we're not used to breaking them, we're going to have a hard time breaking them, because just like any physical muscle, it's hard to lift something heavy and break something heavy. But the more you work out, you ever see like those really strong men, those guys? I mean, nobody wants to be like those strong men. They're like absurdly strong for no reason, and they probably all get herniated disc problems later on in life. But they go and they lift something that's like 700, 800 pounds. You ever wonder like how somebody does that? I mean, the common folk, it would take everybody. There's like 20 people watching this right now. All 20 of us together, if we like grab a corner of this thing, maybe we can lift this thing up, you know, because I think thought processes are the same way. I think that some people, even if they get 10 or 15 people together to help break their thought process, if they're weak enough that they can't do it themselves at all, it ain't going to happen. But the more you do it a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, like, gosh, man, the thought process of like, you know, I'm not good enough, right? That's the thought process that a lot of people have. I'm not good enough. Breaking that is so damn hard. It really is. Until you start working at it and finding out, you know what? I am good at this. I am good at this. I am good at this. I am worthy of this. I am getting positive feedback from this. And the more you believe it, you're like, wait a second, maybe I am good enough. Maybe I am good enough. And I think it's a beautiful way to think about this whole breaking thought pattern. So change that count with, won't, and it changes how I do things. Change that. I don't know what you said there, Tony, but you know what? I've known you long enough to know that there's probably some value in that statement. Jim, can't think yourself into good acting. You have to act your way into good thinking. Thank you. I do believe that in order for us to get psychologically stronger, we have to get more stronger with the actions we take. And what does that mean? There's a lot of times that people don't want to take certain actions in life. I don't even care if they're in recovery or not. There's a lot of time people don't want to take actions, and they sit there and they try to overthink it, and they lose every time. But when you take something called contrary action, so your brain's telling you I don't want to, but you do it anyways. If you do that enough times over an extended period of time, guess what happens? That voice gets quieter and you get more into action. Nathan, not sure if I'm the Hulk, but if I am, I'll take it. You know, I don't know if I don't turn too green when I get mad. I just turn really red. So I don't have that component yet, but maybe one day my goal is to turn green when I get upset. Let's see what we got here. So the major lesson number 4 is learn how to reap in the fall without complaint. So the fall follows what? It follows the summer. So, you know, July, August, and then the fall comes. So after the summer, which that was where all the crops and that's where all the, you know, all that kind of stuff is tended to, the fall follows the winter. The fall follows the summer, sorry. And you created the crop. So listen to this. I need you to hear this, everyone. You created the crop through winter, spring, and summer. It is 100% your creation. And I know other people came in and some people did you this and some people did that and some people messed this up and this and that. However, I want you to hear this, that you must take full responsibility for what happens. When you look at the crop of your life and you look and see what you have and don't have, you have to take full responsibility. Well, someone says, Parm, like, what if someone came and screwed me over and this and that? Well, you know what? I told you in the summer, what do you have to do? Protect your crop from external intruders. Someone says, yeah, but I was going to do it, but I always start things, but I don't finish them, and I don't know what's going on and this and that, because my whole life nobody believed in me and nobody gave me self-esteem and self-worth. Well, you know what? I told you that you must protect your crop from internal intruders. See, if you take full responsibility for whatever the heck outcome you have in life right now, that's a win. That's the highest form of success. That's the highest form of human maturity, taking full responsibility in life. And that's what I need you to do. Because a lot of people that come in the recovery world, hey, a lot of people have done what? Screwed them over, man. Call it what it is. I'm not stupid, man. I'm a licensed clinician. I've sat with thousands of people and I've sat down with them. They've told me their story, and some of them are fucking painful. Some of them are heart-wrenching. Some of them are just, you can't even, listening to them afterwards, you have to go take a breath because it's like, wow, that was intense. That person endured that. I know all that. I'm saying despite of all that, I'm not excusing what happened or saying that it's okay what happened. It's messed up what happened. And it was sad and it was wrong. But despite of all that, where you are in life right now, in this moment that you're listening to me, you're responsible for it. I'm not saying it was your fault. Please, please, please. I've had so many people get upset with me over this statement before. And they say, how are you telling me I'm responsible for where I am when this person did this, all these bad things to me growing up? You know what? Shame on them. And that's their fault. But you're responsible for the wounds that person created because they're not going to come heal it. You know how many people have been waiting for an apology from somebody that they're never going to get? And they just live prisoner of that experience in the past, waiting that that person one day is going to come and say, I'm sorry I harmed you in life. Dude, what if that apology never comes? So what I notice is a lot of people that end up relapsing in recovery, they look at their crop and they don't like what they see, and they drink or they use, or they go back to their codependent patterns if you're a family member, and you're like, yeah, it didn't work anyways. What was the point? Blah, 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 blah. Well, you know what? Did you really take advantage of the opportunity? Did you plant seeds of hope and passion, enthusiasm? Did you water it? Did you protect it? Did you watch it grow and see what happens? And I don't know about that. So, and here's the thing. You ready for this? This is the one that kind of brings it all full circle again, because this is the part that I have to make sure that you hear. I make my voice a little calmer and I get a little closer to the camera just to create a little moment of intimacy before I say this one. But what I have to tell you is this: protect yourself. So what do you have to do in the fall? You also have to protect yourself for the upcoming winter. It is naive to think that it's not right around the corner. You see, my friends, right now, let's say Parham's having a really good life. Let's just say that. Life is good, relationships are good, family's good, health is good, finances is okay, all that kind of stuff. It would be naive, childish, immature for me to think that a winter in my life, a psychological, emotional, financial, spiritual winter in my life, is not just around the corner. You want to know why I know that? Because I am observant of other people's cycles and lives, and I know a little bit about history. Go look at the history of any country in the past 100 years and tell me how many various winters were right around the corner. Look at our own country, right? Just look at the country that we're in right now in this moment. Let's go the past 100 years. In the past 100 years, there were serious pandemics, epidemics, Spanish flus. There were serious world wars that people just got taken from here to go fight and come back if they were lucky. There were serious, major depressions that people would stand in line to get bread. There was serious, second round of war, third round of war, for whether it's Vietnam, whether it's Korea, whether it's whatever the hell it is. There has been various life events that have happened through this whole process of recessions and depressions and this and that, and like markets crashing and people jumping off buildings and all that kind of stuff. There's been all types of attacks on this soil, foreign soil. Listen, my friends, the winter is always around the corner. Like, are we really sitting here right now thinking that like life is just going to be good and dandy because we're in recovery? You stop using drugs and alcohol, so there goes all the problems in life. Your loved one's clean and sober, so there go your problems in life. Any one of us at any given time, we can experience psychological winters, financial winters, social winters, emotional winters. We can, including me. So what do? Prepare for it. Be ready for it. Have a foundation for it. Have structure for it. So when the winter comes, no matter how cold it is, you might get cold. You might get scared. You might get worried. but it's not going to break you. Because why? When that winter comes, and it will come, what was the first one I told you guys? You must learn how to handle the winter, and all winters pass with the passing of time. All those events I told you, they all passed. All the events we're going to experience, they're all going to pass. Yeah, life doesn't get easier, Tony. That's for sure. Damn right, bro. We just learn to cope with it better. And that's the best we could do. And I'm glad you said better, because our better is different, different times in life. But this is a really cool lesson. So thank you for all the interaction. There was a lot of new people that popped up here. I mean, people that I knew, but new people. This is kind of what to expect on this channel. This is it. It's a lot of passion. My hope is that I'm able to influence somebody in a positive way. And if I did that, I'm cool. I'm content. And the 4 Seasons of Life in Recovery was inspired by a gentleman named Jim Rohn, passed away in 2009. He's a big business development and personal development, kind of a sales oriented kind of guy. So I just related to recovery, obviously, because I try to stay in my niche, but I stay open-minded and I learn what I can. I learned from a few people here today in their comments, and I'll take that with me. Just want you to know that I love all of you and I appreciate all of you, and doing this every week, even if there is a small sacrifice in my Saturday routine of my own life, it's always, always, always well worth it. And at the end of it, I am grateful for the opportunity to be able to be a part of your world for at least a slice, for like an hour in time. So have a wonderful Saturday. I don't know what the weather's like where you're at. Humble brag about Southern California. It's looking kind of good out there today. The sun's out, feels good. So I hope to see some of you out there sometime in life. And if not, I'll see you back here next week. Okay. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Talk to you guys soon. Bye, everyone.